Hello everybody and welcome back to Car Mechanic Simulator 2018. My name is The Bandit and today we're going to be working on our Ford Bronco Mark III. Oh boy, a little bit of lag right there, but that's okay. Now, one thing I did forget to mention is always remove your old parts whenever you finish a car. I always recommend going to sell by condition, go up to 99%. Do not sell by 100 because all of your new parts, stock plus, will be gone. And then you have to rebuy everything, which means it was an absolute waste if you did that. Once again, we have another vehicle that does not have a radiator. Rather unfortunate. But let's get started. So as per usual, we're going to tear apart the entire vehicle, body-wise, and then go inside the engine bay and strip down anything that we can. Now, this vehicle is a little different than the Lamborghini Miura because we actually have a lot more parts to remove, which is actually relatively surprising. This is going to be a lot simpler than the Miura, but still a fun process in and of itself. So, let's lift it up all the way and get to work. So this vehicle actually has four-wheel drums on it, and as you can tell, the drums on these models are not very good at all. They're not very good, they're kind of rubbish, and overall, they're not really realistic. Of course, we will go into more detail on them when we reassemble and repair, but it's ultimately not a great representation of what drum brakes are and what they are not. So let's take the front drive shaft out. So this is a four-wheel drive vehicle, unsurprising. And let's go and bust out some small rubber bushings and the other tire. This front suspension is actually taken off of, I believe, the Jeep expansion, so this will require the Jeep DLC to use this vehicle in particular. And because of that, you get four-wheel discs, which haven't been used since the 60s? I forget the exact year, but I do believe it was the 60s. Was when four-wheel disc was eliminated. And it required four-wheel drum, my bad. Four-wheel disc isn't mandated, and some vehicles today even still have drums on the rear of the vehicle. Let's go on over and swing back over to this side. Okay. Okay, whoa. There we go. Pop this vehicle off. Wait for it, there we go. Take off the leaf spring U-bolts and the leaf springs themselves. Pop that off and drop this. Now, as you can see, this vehicle doesn't have an oil pan. That's very typical of these junkyard cars. They won't have the oil pans with them. And of course, my favorite thing, the drive shaft. Some cars, that will be a pain. Just a very fair warning. You will struggle. Again, four-wheel drum. And as you can tell, the drums are very basic. They're missing a lot of the springs and components and stuff that would normally be associated with them. Again, very simple, very basic, and not entirely accurate. Unfortunately, the accuracy is not there, and probably won't be, if I had to guess. So let's take out the solid rear end with the wheel hub. There we go, and the rear knuckle housing. Take off the other side. Take out the horribly inaccurate rear assembly for the drums. And all that are left is disassembly's leaf springs. We can drop this rear axle. Oh, and then the transmission. So let's do that. Take out the gearbox. And there we go. Now, let's lower down the vehicle. Move our engine crane over to the lifter. Do the same thing with the welder. Pop the battery on to recharge it. And finally, move our detailer. And now, I'm gonna click on the, nope, no, I'm gonna pause the engine and I'm gonna add it to the crane. Oh, jeez. For whatever reason, this game's being very laggy. Holy moly. I don't know what is going on. But, there we go. Now, we can fit... Really, we can't do a dual carb on this? Okay. Then never mind, I was gonna do the dual carburetor assembly, but apparently we cannot. So let's go over here. Just start stripping down the engine. I do find it a little surprising that we can't do a dual carburetor setting on this. But if the engine won't allow it, then it will just be a single carb. Dual carburetors offer not much in the way of performance, because you'll have to balance out two carburetors at that point for proper fueling, but it still is nice. There we go, take out the cam, or crank, my bad, and do the block. Alright, let us do the interior and use our welder. Alright, so not bad for our little Bronco. Now, this Bronco doesn't have any springs, and what I mean by that is it doesn't have any double wishbone, blah blah blah, front suspension or rear suspension, so we don't have to use our spring puller. This is going to make the rebuild process go a little quicker, not by a whole lot, but it will go by faster. Let's just take all these parts, And let's go to the bench and rebuild. Oh, Alright, so not a bunch of parts broke on this car, but we had some. And we're gonna have to buy rims. So 2 Retro 10, 15s. So here's all the rims in the game, alphabetized. For our convenience. And 225 80 R15s. Off-road tires, so... Oh, wait a minute. You'll want to do the size first. Or it will just reset everything, and it won't work. There we go. And let's start reinstalling or rebuilding the tires. Well, not rebuilding the tires, but putting them back on the rims. And balancing. Another thing that you would do is add these tire weights onto the tire. Unfortunately, we don't do that in this game. Again, a little step away from realism, but it's not bad. Also, that little red icon that was located right by the tires meant the tire is imbalanced, and it will not go on the vehicle unless you do balance them. So, let's just put some equipment back, work on the tires, and let's go back to working on the engine itself. And of course I broke the block. It's kind of hard to work on an engine when the block is destroyed. Alright. About 10 blocks. Go over to our performance shop, and where is it? Get some ignition coils. Which I'm a little surprised the Miura didn't have any. I could be mistaken and just forgetting, but I don't think the Miura did. No, it did not. Okay. A little weird. Alright, so add some filters. Grab the other tire. Unfortunately, we don't have another engine crane to work on it. It would make things very easy. Go in, buy some performance power steering pumps. Which, I don't know how you would do a performance power steering pump. Guess it's worked a little bit different, but unless it doesn't work, then, you know, performance. Because it will just draw power from the engine. No, 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 no. That is a positive, though, when you do accidentally put the wrong part on. It will go back to the back of your parts list. So, can be good, but at the same time, cannot be. So let's go buy some more caps. Head in here. I need some cam gears. And a oil filter. 21 of them. Timing chains, can't rebuild them. Wearable item. So just get a new one. No timing cover was on this engine, so automatically gonna get some more water pumps, and there it is, crankshaft pulley. At least get some parts to get this engine moving. And we're gonna need serpentine belts. Which, I believe these engines would have had V-belts. I know some engines would have V-belts, so, it's a little different, but not a lot. Again, not accurate because you wouldn't have a flat pulley running on a ribbed side, because that would just destroy it, cause damage to the belt and all. So, it's a little unfortunate, but we're not here to nitpick. We're here to rebuild the engine. This engine will have the fan on the water pump, since it is an older in-block cam engine. The reason why they don't do that anymore is because, well, it robs power of the motor. It isn't as efficient. That is key nowadays, is efficiency. So we're just gonna get the flywheel assembly in, clutches, well, singular clutch, and put on the release bearing. And we have now gotten to the engine block. It's, or not the engine block, the engine heads. So they are you know what? V8 of red valve, there they are. We're gonna need a carburetor. Do they honestly not have a V8 overhead valve 1 carb? That's kind of dumb. It's actually really dumb. Okay, well, that's actually, yeah, really not the brightest thing in the world for them to have done, but again, could be mistaken. Holy moly. Too many shiny bits. Go on over, connect our sparks. Little spark plugs. And we are almost to the point now where to add our favorite bits, or the bits that will spend the most amount of time on these M-block cams. They are the push rods and the rocket levers. Buy a lot of these. This engine will require 16 of them. One for the intake and one for the exhaust valves. And they are not called that. Rocker arm. There they are. Some engines will have the rocker arms as an assembly. This one does not. So it's a very slow and meticulous process of adding all the valves and all, and on an actual engine, it would be painful to do all this. Well, not really painful, it's just time consuming. Especially with all the springs and all. What you have to do, it's a lot of work, but that's why it costs so much. So let us go. There it is. Get 10 of these and 10 of these. Then rebuild the head assembly. Again, a lot of these time-consuming bits are also not helped by the fact that you're gonna have to buy the parts, so once you have a whole stockpile of them, it does make things go by faster, till you have to buy them. Again. So let's add the rocker valves, and the valve push rods and the rocket arms. And let's see if we can't get this engine complete. Alright, next valve cover. Normally these would also have gaskets, just like in between the heads, the cylinder heads, and the oil pan, but no gaskets are available in this game. Okay, so we're gonna need ignition wires for a V8. So let's pick up a few of these, and apparently, there is no special intake for the 1-carb. That's really unfortunate. However, since they just added a whole bunch of performance parts to this game, I doubt that they're gonna add it. So we're gonna have to slap on a normal intake manifold. Kinda dumb, but oh well. I would do a 1-carb if I could, but I cannot. So let's get the base and the cover for the air filter. I also need to go buy the air filter. Good old-fashioned round air filter. Oh, why not? that. Go out. Go to the stand, roll the engine over, and let us do the rest of the rebuild. Now, this engine did not come with any rod caps or bearing caps, so you're gonna have to add them. Which isn't too bad. Again, this also isn't the proper order you would do the bearing caps, and this isn't the right way you would rebuild an engine. However, this is the way we're gonna do it. It's just for efficiency in this game. And we have no oil pan, that's right. Go back in, go buy some oil pans. There we go. Smaller sump design. Also is missing the oil pickup too, but that's a-okay. That does it. This is a fully rebuilt one carburetor engine. Yep. Alright, so we're going to take the engine off and reinstall it. We're also going to add our oil now. That way we don't forget about it at a later point. And can fire up the engine pretty much immediately. Brake servo survived, we're gonna get that. The battery in, radiator, and oh! Apparently we also are gonna be doing the radiator. And I did not expect. I was expecting it to be the older style radiator, but I was mistaken. But that's okay. I'd rather be mistaken than... Oh. May help if I have the radiator fan housing fan. Just a little bit. Okay, and there we go. Everything else is going to have to be done underneath, so let's move this back. And lift it up. So we got some middle mufflers and rear mufflers just to calm the engine down. Or not calm it down, quiet it down. Gonna get some gearboxes as well. Back in. There we go. And grab ourselves middle mufflers. There we go. And with this, once we get the gearbox in, we will be calling it quits on this episode, and we will be coming back in the next one to continue on with this vehicle. After we install the starter. So if you like what you see, be sure to tune in next time for the completion of the Bronco. See you guys then.